Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update. We're going to look at the DXY, yields, precious metals, and commodities and ETFs that I follow. I'm going to give you my financial opinions. And if you guys need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. There we go. We've got a 50% discount going on right now using the coupon code September. So let's dive in here. Let's take a look and see what's going on with the markets. DXY continuing to strengthen a little bit. It's eking out a little bit more today, up 0.19, although yields did fall a little bit. So maybe we're getting a little bit of toppy-toppy. We'll see. Looking at yields, 2-year, getting a little more selling pressure here. It does look like this wants to at least give it a try. We are above support. Everything looks good from that perspective for yields to stay high. But we are throwing on some more selling pressure candlesticks up here. We have a bearish engulfing candlestick that generally leads lower in the short term. We'll see how much follow through it has tomorrow. TNX also getting a little bit of selling pressure, not as big as the 2-year. Again, we'll see if this thing starts to slow down up here or if we continue on the path higher. The momentum is definitely to the upside. TYX also has got the good momentum to the upside. We were down a little bit today. Again, we have to see more selling pressure for me to state that this is definitely topping or about to change with the momentum obviously heading to the upside. TYX-TNX ratio, the yield curve is uninverting where the short end is going down more than the long end. That is generally good for precious metals. So we do have large. Let's go to the weekly candlesticks. We've got these large candlesticks that are blasting their way up. Small pullback, blasting its way up. Small pullback, blasting its way up. Little bloody nose. We'll see if this actually starts to unwind the yield curve. If it starts to unwind, I think we could get a potential move up in precious metals when this curve uninverts. We're not there yet. It's too early to state that. I'm just stating that there are some signs that this thing is trying to put in a bottom, or you should say uninvert the yield curve. Bond prices are also against a big support level. We've got lots of buying and selling back here in the mid-2000s. We're back up against that support level. That support looks like it's trying to hold here. Are we going to get a move where yields drop and bond prices go up? Or do we go sideways for a while and base out? Those are where I think the two options are. I don't think we're just going to cut right through that and sell off. It's possible, but we got a lot of support underneath us. So I would think that that support would hold to some degree. Gold, flat today. So it's flat. We do have some momentum coming to the downside. We're trying to turn that. We haven't turned yet. We got to see more buying pressure for me to make that claim. We are still above key support levels here. So this is looking at the weeklies. We're still above support here at about lower 1900s. Silver still squeezing. We've got the big picture view here. We're squeezing in this gigantic pattern here. We're up against resistance. We have not broken through and sustained any breakthrough through that resistance. We also have another trend line that's coming up down here that will act as support if it needs it down in the 2275 level-ish area. Platinum still heading a little bit lower. We are contracting in the opening and closing prices, which means the momentum is slowing down. Are we going to try to turn here and put in some sort of potential bottom? Tough to say. There's your downtrend line that's been broken. And that's what I mean by trying to turn this thing and put in a bottom. So I actually think it looks good down here for a potential adding point in the low 900s. That's a pretty good area to be looking. XAU to gold, a little bit of underperformance for the gold and silver mining companies in relationship to gold. Again, we are still in this downtrend. We're at support, and we'll see if this support holds or if we're going to break and move lower, but it's right at that support level. We've got the CRB index sideways today. Sideways. That's all we're going to get. A little bit of sideways action. We got sideways today. The CRB index in relationship to the S&P 500, we were up a little bit. Momentum's a little bit lost, but nonetheless, we were higher in this ratio where commodities are outperforming the S&P 500. So looking at the gold and silver mining companies, a little bit of a down, a little bit of selling pressure in GDX. We got the same thing in GDXJ and the same thing in SILJ. We're waiting for gold and silver to basically strengthen. The gold and silver mining companies work off of margins, and those margins are getting squeezed with the inflation in the system and with precious metals not going higher yet. They are getting squeezed, and that's why we are getting some ridiculously low levels in the XAU to gold ratio, and why these mining companies have not taken off yet. Crude oil, it's still cruising on up there. A little bit of a down day today. It's not necessarily a reversal candlestick, but we'll see what happens tomorrow if we get selling pressure or if the buyers come in and push it on higher. Don't know yet, but overall, it looks very good. Momentum's to the upside, and we've broken this downtrend line, and I still think we can go higher here and grind our way up. Natural gas also heading a little bit higher today. It looks like it's trying to turn it around. Here's your very short-term kind of picture here. We've broken that downtrend line here, and it looks like we could go higher in nat gas. So let it do what it's going to do. I think it's a good area to be looking at nat gas down here and some of the equities. XOP, yeah, you know me, holding on. It's right above that support level, and it's just holding there, right above the neckline of this inverted shoulder head shoulder. Looking good. OIH also holding on, not much selling pressure. It's just moving sideways. Looks kind of like a flag pattern. Again, we've got a long runway ahead of us if it wants to run. Crop Physical Uranium Trust, we are down today, and we'll see where this goes. We've closed this little gap here, but I guess there's another gap somewhere else. I don't prescribe to all gaps get filled. I think the statistic is 70 or 80% get filled, somewhere in that range. But that doesn't mean that it won't get filled on the way down after the bull market, which is 10, 20 years away. But it looks okay. We're just waiting for the buyers to step back in. URA holding on. The buyers did come in. It gapped down in the morning. There's your gap down in the morning here. Right in the morning, gap down, and then it worked its way back up. You can say that we've got basically a pattern that could potentially break to the upside, but we have to break that first for me to state that. URNM also holding on today. Down 1%, but the momentum came back up throughout the day. So the momentum is coming to the upside. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow. And then URNJ is just an amplified move of URNM. It's got the same characteristics. The gap is filled there. TAN heading a little bit lower today. Selling off, creating that gap. And it looks like we could be coming back to that $50 level, which is possible. Just like it did the way it fell. Came all the way back to about $50, came back up, and this is just doing the opposite of that, I think. Again, I don't have much skin in the game for TAN. I don't really care what it does. So I'm not a big solar guy. COPX, just moving sideways still, a little bit more selling pressure inside this channel. Lithium down a little bit. The momentum is coming back up. That's why there's a wick at the bottom. And it looks like we'll probably try to turn and reverse here. That's what this guy, we sold off in the morning and then came back up throughout the morning on the short-term charts. REMX doing roughly the same thing as TAN, gap down in the morning, momentum's coming back up, just like uranium as well. We've got SPX down a little bit. Again, it gapped lower, came back up. We'll see what happens. Again, we're looking for bigger buying pressure, and I just don't see it yet. NASDAQ's doing the same thing. It's coming on down. It hasn't broken any trend lines. It's just a down day, and we'll see if that continues. Emerging markets down a little bit, stronger dollar at least, but it's holding on right where it's at, just kind of getting volatility going back and forth in that general area. XHB, we do have these big, bad, ugly down candlesticks and not a real big bounce happening here. So we could see further downside. It is in the cards for that to occur. We do have a trend line that we could potentially break here in the short term. And you can kind of draw a trend line like that. It does look like to me that that could break to the downside. Moo also heading a little bit lower, but we came into the support level. We'll see if that support level holds, and we're right on top of it. Copper down a little bit. We're still within the pattern, though. We're still up against support. We're just waiting to see which way it wants to break. Recession, land of prosperity. There we go. Iron ore still holding on. We got this gap that's going down. Maybe it fills that gap. Again, I don't shop at the gap, so who knows what's going to happen there. It still looks good to go higher, though. It's broken out of this big consolidation falling wedge, so it still looks really good. Nickel down a little bit. And again, I'm not looking for a move higher. This still looks like we've got momentum to the downside. It's got to prove that it's going to turn. Aluminum up a little bit today, 0.2% or so. This still looks good to go higher. Big green candlesticks all through here, smaller selling pressure. I do think it will turn and go up. Baltic Dry Index up 1.7%. We've broken out of this falling wedge. It's going to go higher in the long term. I don't know why this one isn't updating Newcastle Coal Futures, but it looks good. We're sitting right on support, and I think it's going to base out and turn higher here. Bitcoin just basing out, going sideways. We'll see which direction this thing wants to go. Ethereum doing the same exact thing. Same thing. I think Ethereum and Bitcoin are much like precious metals right now. It's like they're waiting for stimulus or something. So that's what we've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel if you like, or sign up to the website too. We do have that 50% coupon. September is the coupon code. And I mean, everything still looks intact for uranium. Everything still looks good for oil. Commodities still look fantastic from the CRB index and all that stuff. So yeah, we get down days, we get up days. You just got to be patient and wait for the move to grind on higher. All right, guys, that's all I've got for today. We'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.